How are Kabam doing when it comes to delivering on the dev diaries and the various different bits that they've promised us since 2020? So many people in the MCOC community have requested of me to look back at all the dev diaries. I'm talking 2 years worth. Well, I say that because Kabam stopped doing dev diaries as of May 6, 2021. So once they stopped, like what Kabam have done since they announced all this stuff, looking at, Dev Diary 2021, looking back last year, so a year before that, 2020, when all the problems happened. Like, what have Kabam done? Have they succeeded and have they failed against some of the stuff that they've put into game? That is what we're going to do in this video. I did actually record a video like this, but I decided to delete it because it was like a 20-minute video. Actually, I think it was like a 30-minute video, and it just didn't feel like at the end of it that we had anything visual to go, what have they achieved? And it didn't look like it was that researched. This time around, I have researched this very, very well. There'll probably be some things that people say I've missed, but I kind of feel it's very, very solid, and it has a really cool spreadsheet associated with it and a little bar chart. So that's cool. The backstory of these dev diaries goes back to June, July time 2020. At this time and point, everyone in the community, a large chunk of the community, were burnt out from grinding different content. Also, the way that Kabam hadn't really kind of understood players particularly well, and kind of pandering too much towards like the 1% of the community rather than the 99%. Not really doing a solid for those that are non-spending players and other elements as well. They delivered, I think it was 4 dev diaries, or maybe 5. I'm definitely this one here, which is Contest Evolved. There's Champions of the Contest, there's Amping Up Alliances, there's the future of the quests, and also what's coming in the contest. And a lot of this set out certain things and pledges from Marvel Contest of Champions, Kabam as a developer, as to what they're going to do, whether or not it's revamping champions, improving them, making them stronger, making the content more enjoyable, making sure alliances are looked into. And I think it's really important to understand, like, as I said, where Kabam are up to with this. Also, I just want to make the point that I'm not getting at Kabam. I'm not kind of being rude to them. I just want to point out stuff that Kabam have pledged, and as well, where they may not have kind of like been successful and where they have been successful. In game, we've seen improvements to Cavalier difficulty. We've seen improvements to incursions, AQ-based improvements, arena-based improvements. That's for sure thing. 2 variants or back issues. Act 7 content, Summer of Pain, Grandmaster Gauntlet, and that's all well and good. And there's been a lot of quality of life improvements, care of Kabam Zero. But yes, we have had the issues of the input situation of last year, which happened for iOS, but is always something that's a problem with Android. Optimization, which has definitely become a problem this year. So where are we up to? So I created this, which I'll put a link to in the description down below. Again, I don't know if anybody's interested in any of these spreadsheets, but I will make more of an effort to kind of like make them available for you to check out if you are interested in them. So what I've done here is I've got a little key, which is orange is somewhat in-game, green is completed and in-game, red is not being delivered in-game, and blue is Kabam went back on this or is lacking. So Kabam said, they're going to do something, they did it, and then they went back on their word kind of thing. So there's been a lot. There's been a lot of stuff that's been announced in the dev diary, which you can see on screen. Some stuff has been delivered, some has not, right? Variance-wise, good news, that was delivered. It's good to see. Arachnid Action. Dedapalooza is one of the most terrible variants out there just from a complexity standpoint, and we don't have hashtag crystals for mercenaries, so players, if they didn't have it and didn't have it at a high rarity, then that was hugely disappointing. I've also noted variant 9 on there. That wasn't on a dev diary, but I kind of feel like this is something that should have been, and that's the problem. Kabam have gone away from this 3-month rotation of variants where they did very well in 2020, slightly well in 2021, and it kind of went back on that. So I could take off that, but I kind of feel like it's something that should be added in. Summer of Pain, which was announced in 2020, was not delivered until 2021. Grandmaster Gauntlet was slightly in the dev, I think it was slightly mentioned, and that did get delivered. Great piece of content, one of my favourite pieces of content of 2021. Hasn't returned though. Video on that one at the weekend. Solo competitive mode and Alliance revamp. So I do not see any kind of Alliance revamp. Alliance will revamp, as Kabam have kind of like said they would kind of like deal with that, but have not. So it's like, I don't see it. And I know I don't play it, but I know that there's like stuff that they've just been... There's sort of like doing stuff that's kind of like solo competitive. I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel like it's been overly, like totally kind of stripped down to its bare bones and then rebuilt again. It's just not there. But some good news is definitely seeing stuff like the Prologue Initiative. The Prologue Initiative, which I really rate for new players and also those that want to make really kind of good advancements and also less on the energy spend. Acts 1 through to 4 have been looked at, and I think that's great. I think it's like one of the best. There's been loads of little kind of like new player to the game kind of pushes, improvements, allowing you to make gains and quicker, and that's great. I absolutely loved to see that kind of stuff. So great. Encourage more players to play the game and new players to come in. Solo competitive mode is an iffy one. Yes, Battlegrounds was put in last month, and that's why I went, because it's not in 2021 when it was announced, having it in for 2022, which it is sort of like testing at the moment. It's not fully in because it's being tested. Second beta is next week or something, or next month. So yeah, it's not technically in, but we have had an experience with it as a beta. What else? A big thing right here, and that's Alliance Quest challenges. Something, again, we haven't seen in-game is Alliance Quest challenges. The Alliance Quest is what it is. It's on a standard rotation of 5 days, 5 kind of like increments or whatever it is. But there's nothing extra. There's nothing like a secret like objective to do or challenge. Like, I don't know, use this champion, Alliance Quest, get this as a result. Get some more rank up materials. And that's something to mention as well. Like, Tier 5 Basic, for those that are Thronebreaker, is a problem. The same way that Tier 5 Class Catalyst is a problem for those Cavalier. The same way that like being uncollected and having other problems. There's going to be lots of problems. Like get some gold by doing an Alliance Quest challenge. That would be fantastic. But it's just not there at the moment. What else? What else hasn't been delivered or has been delivered? Well, Map 8 and Arena improvements, right? Map 8's like good for those that want to make those advancements with their roster, with their competitive nature. Fantastic. Arena, I'm still always very confused about how Kabam announced this, because they went, oh, we've got like revamp to it, and I'm like, okay, you got revamp to Arena. What is it? Oh, it's just this and that. It's like, okay, I mean, it's good. Like the Arena, when it's been revamped, has been good. It's been a little bit better, but I do think a lot more can be done with it. What else is working? Not working. Or in, but not in. And I think that's just come to a point of Masteries 2.0. Masteries 2.0, problem, not in at the moment. For me personally, it is one of the biggest things that I want to see in the game. The other stuff, yes, of course, but, you know, that the most. Because you get to, like, switch between different Mastery loadouts. Would love that. Take away the spend of stuff. And adding in new Masteries, of course. Because it's been kind of drab. Strikers. Not really in. I mean, look, we've had a test of it, but there's nothing that's being delivered with it, and that goes hand in hand with relics, and like relics are meant to come in with solo competitive mode. So far, nothing. We haven't even learnt like how they're going to have an implication with a beta coming in for the second part of Battlegrounds. It is problematic to kind of go like, is this going to be in 2022? Sort of, but it kind of feels like it's going to be a year later. Probably when Act 8.1 is going to be released, to be brutally honest. More 6-star signature stones in that was announced 2021. I kind of feel that's sort of true, but sort of not. They've added in a lot more into stuff like Act content, which has been great, and a little bit more in the monthly. But I think Kabam could definitely add in a lot more to those 6-star signature stones. I say that with having like a nice chunk of them right now. Yeah, I could really do with some more. Look, max signature 6 stars have just come in, so those crystals, we'll probably see some elevation there with other things. Wish crystal, no idea. No idea with that one. Project Genesis has sort of come in. That's what Kabam Zero has been doing a lot of work on, and I feel that's come in. Whether or not we've gone skip 3 animation, we've got the quick fill in Arena. There's been a lot of really nice touches to quality of life improvements, so that's great. Alliance Raids. Where the bloody hell is Alliance Raids? That was something Kabam put in some old dev diaries and talking about the idea of something different for alliances. Because, like, look, I know people like Alliance Quest and I know they like Alliance Wars and I know like the regularity, but for me it's just like, I just feel it's lacking. Like there's lacking something new. As someone who's played this game since day dot, I'm just looking for something new in alliance-based participation, something fresh. 7 years down the line, and no fresh new alliance-based participation content. That's really kind of where I'm at. Fresh innovation. That's what we want to see with this game. What else? Drop rate improvements. Yes, they were delivered in 2021. Champion buffs now. Champion buffs, and this is the reason I got the first blue, is that I feel that Kabam went back on their word when it came to kind of delivering it. Yes, they might not be able to like deliver it the same way they delivered some other stuff, but I kind of feel like the way that they were kind of really pushing out those buffs, and there were some quality buffs, they kind of like then felt like, oh well, we can't actually develop this, it will take time away from it. So the reason I've gone it blue, I feel like Kabam have gone back on their word, or it kind of feels like it's lacking in some sort of way. And I was going to do that with incursions in my particular color scheme, but incursions a bit iffy with this. Right, what else? Social progression. That was something that was meant to kind of like come in at some point. No word on that one. It's been nearly 3 years, or 2 years and a bit. Act 6 to Act 7 revamp, yes. Act 6 revamp or nerf, yes. That's been good. Well done, Kabam. You've done some good changes right there. Reducing mental load on nodes. I kind of somewhat disagree with that one, and the reason I've put it like that is I just kind of feel that Kabam then have gone, oh, well, that's why Cavalier difficulty needs tags and hashtags, and then the way that's kind of spilled over from variants, I kind of feel like that's kind of going in. I'm sure people would disagree with that, but I kind of feel that's going too much on that reducing mental load. Act 7 has been decent for that one, except give or take a few like paths, and maybe the Gwen Master boss, possibly, but apart from that, it hasn't been quite so bad on it. I think Gwen Master probably with that mental load of kind of thinking too much and the different phases, probably that's probably the only thing of Act 7, but there are some paths with that. No great nerfs with Act 6 on that kind of case, but still, it is what it is. What else? Champion balancing, that's been a disaster. That hasn't come in, and whether that'll come next month, don't know. Dual class crystals, great addition, that's been done. Dual targets were done, and then they stopped working, so you couldn't dual champions anymore. Route mechanic was not delivered until 2021, and as well, it's only been in the shape and form of Craven. So that's the only time you've seen the route mechanic actually work. And innovation with some of these abilities is very important for champions because they can be really boring and drab. Incursion improvements stopped as of 2020. 2021 we didn't really see any great kind of movement with it. Officer tools delivered great for officers. They love it. Great to see. Duel and fight again, not there. Fight replays, not there. So it comes to the final results, without kind of like deviation or all that stuff, just go right into it right here. So on the data above, and do bear in mind this is based on my kind of opinions and thoughts and also some facts with this. So somewhat in game, 3 things. Completed in game, with my spelling mistake, I need to kind of like just correct right there. Completed in game, 12 items. Not being delivered in game, 14 items, and Kabam went back on their word or are lacking in 1 thing. This does mean that it's very much kind of like balanced, but and that's just the thing, it's really balanced, but I don't like the idea of seeing so many red. Seeing a lot of red since 2020 is not great. Yes, and that's something to point out, the input issue did take a lot of mental stress of way that the team were developing stuff. Absolutely. But at the same time, looking at this situation, there's a lot more that needs to be going in. This game's been running this will be the 8th year the game has been in game. And all of this stuff on here is all about innovation. It's all about kind of the future of Marvel Contest of Champions. And if it's not satisfying those that are kind of still playing the game, and also in the key areas like alliance-based participation, new types of content, quality of life improvements to things like masteries, and other things, right, that is a big problem. And that's where I feel Kabam are lacking a bit on this. But I didn't want to make this like a long-ended video. I just wanted to get down to the core aspects of what's not being developed in game and what should be the future. And also what Kabam have done well. Because they've done some good stuff. and some stuff is sort of in game. Some stuff definitely in game, but it definitely feels like there's kind of like some stuff lacking with it, and that's that not being delivered in game. That's a big chunk. Like 14 is a big chunk versus 12 that's been completed. So yes, lots of work to do. What are your thoughts on this? Put it in the comments section. And if anybody from Kabam disagrees with this and wants to reach out, then we'll do a special podcast, me, Dan, and a member of Kabam or whatever. But there we go. That's been a video. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to check out some other content, which will be, boom, on screen right now. And I will see you in the next video, or I'll see you in a stream later on today, or whenever that will be. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.